Broadcasting live from G Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the Stogie Geek Show. This segment is brought to you by the Southern Cigar Festival. The Southern Cigar Festival is a world-class cigar event coming to Atlanta, Georgia. On Saturday, June 6th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., the Verizon Amphitheater at Encore Park will be home to the largest cigar event ever in the state of Georgia. Guests will receive premium cigars from 35 cigar manufacturers hailing from 9 different countries. There will also be personal guest appearances from many of the big-name cigar makers and industry personalities. In addition, the Southern Cigar Festival will feature prizes, raffles, live music, and plenty of food and drink. Be sure to check out the limited VIP tickets and even more limited private VIP box packages, which include early access to the event and plenty of additional amenities. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster and on the event website at southerncigarfestival.com. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today. And by Saga Cigars, creators of the Saga Golden Age cigar. The Golden Age is a cigar that takes you back to the classic days of cigar smoking. Through the 6 generations of experience by the Reyes family, the Saga Golden Age delivers a timeless blend that uses the nobility of the tobacco to bring you the perfect balance of power and flavor. It narrates better than words the history of a family's tradition in tobacco, delivering a cigar much like the ones they used to smoke in the times of Hemingway. Saga Golden Age is a full-body, full-flavored Dominican Puro. With tobaccos from one farm, the blend features a Corojo 2006 wrapper and filler from the original Cuban seeds grown in the Dominican Republic. Available in 4 sizes and an affordable price, the Saga Golden Age is sure to please and take you back to a journey to yesteryear. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This is episode 136 for April 16th, 2015. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. Right here in good old G Unit Studios in Rhode Island. On the lines via Skype from North Carolina, we've got Mr. Will Cooper.
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
It's going fantastic, my friend.
Absolutely.
It is going fantastic. Hey, I wanted to say, first of all, I'm very excited about this show. We've got fantastic guests. Joining us very shortly will be Andre Farkas from Viaje Cigars. I'm very excited about that. Will, you just took a trip that I wanted you to talk about. In the meantime, you took a trip to Honduras.
Yep, I took a trip down to Honduras and with a one-day excursion over the border to Nicaragua, too.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. How was that?
It was I've been to Nicaragua several times. It was my first time to Honduras. And I actually was down there touring Rocky Patel's operations, which is split between the 2 countries. He's got the Honduran operations, he's still working with the Plasencia folks, but in Nicaragua, he's got his own factory and farms, and it was really interesting to see both countries and compare and contrast the 2 countries.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so what's the difference between the way things are in Honduras and cigar-wise as opposed to Nicaragua?
Well, I mean, when you go to the farms, the big difference right away is the soil. I mean, and it's a noticeable difference where that soil in Nicaragua is almost black. It's that volcanic soil, and you really, it's very rich looking. And the Honduran soil is probably more what you're used to, a more traditional, a little more of a clay-like soil. I don't want to say clay, but that clay-colored soil it has.
Yeah.
But Honduras, the interesting thing about Rocky Patel is how he embraces 2 different ways to make cigars. So in Honduras, the cigars that are made out of Plasencia, they're single capped and they're bunched accordion style. But at Rocky's factory in Nicaragua, he uses the triple cap and he uses the entubado tubing way to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't say as a cigar smoker that I would have a preference, right? But certainly there's differences, I think, when you smoke it. And I think that they're very subtle because certain types of tobacco, I don't know, in my kind of uneducated opinion, just from talking to people that know way more than me about the subject, I feel like certain tobaccos will do better construction-wise in the accordion method versus the entubado method. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times they get it right, but sometimes it can be off, and you're like, it burns kind of weird, and maybe that's because that particular tobacco or whatever didn't, benefit from that bunching method.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that too much, but it is a good point. I don't want to say so much I've had, one type draw better or worse than the other type. It does seem to be a mixed bag, and that would be probably a real good reason. What you're saying makes a lot of sense with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think how you store your cigar certainly has a lot to do with how it burns too. Like if you don't have any like voids or like major construction issues, like if it's just not quite burning right, that could be the way you stored it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But the other thing I'll just say is Honduras is a very, very mountainous country, a very, very rugged terrain. I sat in the back of a bus going from the capital to Danlí. And, I used to, when I was a kid, like to sit in the back of the bus and get the bumps. But when you're like 40, 47 years old, which is what I am, it suddenly has a rougher effect on you.
Yeah, I bet.
But but like I said, and the other thing that's really interesting is crossing the border from Honduras to Nicaragua. I actually shot some video. It's kind of a process.
I've heard
not
that.
It's hard to get out of Honduras. They make it harder to get out of Honduras. There's a lot of paperwork you have to fill out. So that you end up, there's actually at the border, there's a little bit like of a village that's been set up, like coffee shops and souvenir stores, just because you're at the border for so long.
Wow.
Yeah.
But getting back in is not an issue?
Getting back in is much easier, because what happens with Honduras is you actually have to fill out a customs form leaving the country, which is kind of something that's
backwards. Yeah,
it's kind of backwards. Yeah. And then even when you get on the plane, you go through all the normal security checks, right? Going on the plane to go home. And then when you get to the gate, the first thing they do is you have a pat down. So even though you go through a metal detector earlier on, you're going to get another pat down, and you have to have that pat down. And then they're going to search every nook and cranny of your bag afterwards.
To get into the country?
Just to get out of the country.
Oh, to get on
a plane. To get out on a plane, yeah. To go back to the U.S., that's what I had to go through.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, they do a good job, the Rocky Trip. I'd encourage folks, if your retailer has the trip, they're very knowledgeable folks who do the trip, and
yeah, you don't want to go to Honduras unless you're going on like a Rocky trip like that, right? Like
no, yeah. I mean, look, you're not going to get to some extent in Nicaragua. Maybe because I've been there a few times, I probably could get on the plane and feel a little more comfortable going there. I don't think I would do that with Honduras at all.
Yeah, you got to go with a trip that's reputable. Like Rocky's been there forever, so.
Yeah, and he is, like I said, they're very well known.
Yes.
In there. So I mean, people know Rocky Patel cigars down there.
Yeah.
So you'll see them.
Well, it's like a thing if you're there with Rocky people. I'm an American. I'm here with Rocky. They tend to leave you alone because I've heard that when you go on trips to different countries that the locals respect that you're there with one of the major manufacturers in the country, right?
Yeah, they definitely do. I got to do a little blending down there too. My blend came out awful, is what I'll just say.
Did you use Honduran tobacco in your blend?
Yes, and I can see I can listen to Stogie Sander yelling at me right now. And I used the Sumatra wrapper. So, somehow I thought maybe if I could take a Sumatra wrapper and put Honduran tobacco, but add a little Ometepe, I was going to get something special.
Yeah.
No.
If it were only that easy, right?
Yeah. And then everyone's on the trip going, I really like everyone who did a blend, they're going, I love the blend I did. And then they get to me, I'm like, my blend sucked. I don't even want to light it again. I think I'm gonna send one to Stogie Santa unbend and kind of see how bad a reaction he gives me.
He's gonna throw it off the boat, dude.
Throw it off the boat, Roy. That's what I was thinking exactly.
Don't give it to him if he's going on a boat, dude, because it'll be in the water. That's hilarious. So did you come back, other than the horrible cigars that you rolled, did you come back with a lot of different cigars?
I came back with some. I did get to smoke Rocky's new Barber Pole right now, which is the Edge A10, which has the Edge Corojo and the Edge Maduro wrapper. I'll be honest, I don't think the cigar was ready. I think it was a little wet. So I thought it was really good in the first half, but the second half, you kind of got a little bit of harshness out of it. But I think the cigar will be okay. So I came back with that. And I'll talk about it in my smoking of the week. I kind of came back with some of the Bolds and the Nimi Ds, which I kind of were really enjoying down there. They were just good everyday cigars. So I came back with some of those as well. The interesting thing is, when I was walking around a few of the shops, the brand there, besides Rocky Patel, and we've talked about them on the show, is Maya Silva. So Maya Silva's got a presence in that country. They're in a lot of the stores down there.
Interesting.
Yeah, probably the next most next to Rocky Patel that I saw was Maya Silva.
I love their cigars.
Yeah, I smoked that Compe this week, so I'll talk about that as well because I know you smoked it and really liked it, so that kind of inspired me to smoke it.
Yeah, they make some great blends.
Yep.
Now? So Rocky, Maya Selva. What are some of the other manufacturers in Honduras? Aroa, Christian Aroa, right?
Christian Aroa. Oh yeah, obviously Christian Aroa, CLE.
His Aroa line is that Honduran Puro that is like awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean that is his authentic Corojo. That's his best stuff that he's done. So actually, we passed by the Christian's compound on the way back from the Placencia fields. Camacho's down there, and Davidoff just made a huge investment. And part of why I wanted to go is because Davidoff has made a huge investment in Honduras. They bought up a lot of farms, and they're building a new factory. So
really?
Davidoff,
around Camacho or
it's to really help with the growth of Camacho and more Camacho, I'd say. But I mean Camacho's growing so much that they've outgrown the factory they're in right now. So that was talked about a little in terms of Davidoff's and Davidoff's investing more in farms. So that's telling me there's a long-term commitment that they're making to Honduras right now with that brand.
That's interesting.
And of course I passed by Races Cubanas, which our next guest Andre is very familiar with. I didn't go to Races Cubanas, but I did pass it, and that's where a lot of the Alec Bradley.
Oh, Alec Bradley, yes.
Yep, and of course Viaje and Casa Fernandez make stuff there as well.
Yeah, and we'll get into it with Andre.
Yeah, because there's some changes.
I see some notes about a lot of new factories he's creating. So.
Yep.
That's really cool. Awesome. Well, speaking of traveling, we were going to do some Stogies of the Week, Will. I don't know, with just like 4 minutes to go in this segment, I'm probably not going to get into any Stogies of the Week. So I'm just filling time with other stuff we haven't had a chance to talk about. But speaking of traveling, I got some new travel humidors. And now one of them is the one that you sent me, which thank you very much for that. That's the Bluetooth speaker that comes with the...
Did you get to play with it yet? I was like...
No, I haven't yet. It's weird. Like I have like multiple sets of headphones in the studio.
The person you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
We're trying to get Andre on via Skype. So that travel thing is awesome. I can't wait to use it. But I bought recently, I think I might have mentioned it on the show, a lifetime membership to CRA. My membership was up for renewal.
Yes, you did.
I went ahead and I bought the lifetime subscription. And I didn't want anything. I'm like, use my money, go fight for us in Congress, right? Go lobby. That's what I want you to do. That's where I want my lifetime membership to go. But they were very, very kind. Like out of the blue, a week or two later, I got this huge package in the mail. Like all this stuff, dude. I got a hat. I got a T-shirt, and I got this really awesome CRA branded. I don't know. Can we zoom in on this other? Yeah. Really awesome CRA branded travel case. Really nice. It's got like the bead system inside and everything. So
oh wow.
I was happy for that because you can just never have too many travel cases, a little bead thing in there. So I got some cigars in there. It's very nice. And I like the little carabiner because I can attach it right to my bag.
That is cool.
For taking cigars back and forth. Yeah, so it's really, it's kind of big, but I like it because I just attach it to my bag, which is pretty cool. So yeah, some interesting little travel tidbits. And with you just traveling, how did you take your cigars back and forth, Will?
I made sure this time I had a few of the Otter boxes with me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pack, do you put Vivita packs right in there?
I took some with me.
Yeah.
And I did put them in there, the small ones. What I actually did this time is I went to my retailer and I bought a whole bunch of those little single ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought the little, if you've ever seen them, the display canister that's vacuum sealed.
Yes.
I had my retailer just order me one, right? So now I keep them all, and I'll have to put it on the show to show next week. Now it's like what you'd.
I see. Yeah. So you just put them in a jar, a sealed jar.
Yep. Yep. And now I
right
have.
This is like an older one. Can you see that down here? Yeah, that's the little Humidipacks.
Yeah. So now I have.
Yeah.
So I was able to just take a few of those with me. And it's really good when you were mailing out stuff to Stogie Geeks listeners or to each other. I don't have to worry about going crazy or just reusing. Like sometimes I'm scrambling to pull one out to send so it's humidified.
Right.
So, so I found that real handy getting that. And it wasn't that expensive. It was like $15 to get that canister. So, and it looks
I've
nice.
stuck them in my humidor, and I find that if your humidor gets dry in that particular area that you're storing those in, it'll actually dry out.
Yeah.
So keeping them in the jars is a good idea.
Yeah, so I took some of those. It wasn't very humid down in Honduras. I'll be
really.
That was and I've been in Nicaragua in May, and it's more humid than this. Was not as humid. In fact, there was a nice breeze at night too there. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't have Las Vegas problems like last month.
Cool.
Which was good, and everything came back in one piece.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, we're just going to take a short break. We're going to get our next guest on the show. We're going to get Andre Farkas on the show. So take a very short break, come back, and do our feature interview for the show. So stay tuned.